Welcome to Life Thru Style, the new web series. I am your hostess, Famira, the Diamond DIVA, and I am excited to be here with my business BFF. Yes, everyone should have a business BFF, so if you don't have one, you need to get you one. And mine is the wonderful M.E. Porter, the Soul Shifter. Hey, M.E.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm excited. So, of course, when I decided to do this web series, it's all about really tapping into women that are showstoppers in their industry, that definitely understand the meaning of showing up and standing out. And so, of course, when I was thinking of my list of who I wanted to invite to this platform, you were at the top of it. And so I just want to tell you all just a little bit about her. M.E. Porter is known as the Soul Shifter because that is her big, bold promise that anytime you hear her speak or she shows up to coach or whatever capacity that she operates in, she definitely will touch your soul. And I know this to not just be a line from her bio, but to be truth, because as her business BFF and just as my God-given sister that she is to me, she has definitely touched my soul on many of occasions and helped me work through breakthroughs that I needed, not only in my own life, but also in my business. And so she does the personal development, but however, she is a genius when it comes to business and marketing as well. Yes, I put her on blast with that. She usually tries to keep that as the best kept secret. But if you are a soulpreneur that is really looking to tap into the faith portion of your business because you recognize that is who you are, then M.E. Porter is definitely your go-to coach for that, and you want to check her out. And so as I always start all of this, M.E., I said all of that from your bio, but tell me, who really is M.E.? Who is Marilyn Porter?
Who is, oh my goodness, how long is the interview?
Right.
So in an absolute nutshell, and I'm not even going to give my standard pitch, I am a guiding light, design. I'm going to scratch all that, right? And I'm going to say that M.E. Porter really is a spirit being walking around this planet in this earth suit designed to elevate other people's lives and praise God. In a nutshell, that's who I am.
Awesome. So, I mean, hey, that's a pretty good nutshell, right?
That is it. Because you can add all the other stuff, but when you start to pull, all of the little incidentals out, that's what you're left with. I'm here to elevate, other people, primarily women. That's who I'm called to. And to, make sure God gets the glory and give him praise. At the end of the day, that's what you're left with.
Right. Awesome. So, for those of you that may not be, for those that may be watching that aren't really familiar with you, can you tell us a little bit just about how you got started in business and how you became the soul shifter and how that journey went?
Oh, yes. I actually officially began in business really only about 3 years ago. It became official where I actually put a name to it and began to call myself a coach and a mentor. And yes, as you so eloquently blasted me on, I am a pretty dapper business strategist, and I really, I'm marketing. I'm good with the marketing tips as well. But I have actually been doing coaching, mentoring, counseling, whatever modality you want to call it. I have actually been doing that since I was about 15 or 16 years old. I am the one who, when you were in high school, if the guidance counselor was too busy, they had trained me to take the guidance counselor's overflow. So I literally have been in the business of elevating and comforting others, since I was in my teens. When I actually started to make money off of it, was roughly about 3.5 years ago, when I woke up one morning, and I had previously been shut down. And those, my Christian brothers and sisters, y'all know what that means, you know, when you kind of then did something and have no business doing and you get silent. And so I had been silenced, and I had not been walking in ministry, because for me it's ministry. I had not been walking in ministry for about 10 years. About 10 years. And then one day I just woke up and God said, now, you know, now is the time that I need you to stand up and be who I called you to be. But this time I need you to remember that I am the one who gets the glory. And so that is when Motivationally Me came to life, which was a Facebook page. And the miraculous story about that page is that I was obedient. You know, I did what he told me to do. And I think I started that page on a Thursday, and I woke up on Friday and there were like 5,000 fans. And then I went to sleep again on Friday, and I woke up on Saturday or Sunday, or however the days were going. But ultimately, in about less than 2.5 weeks, I had like 9,000 fans on that page. And so that was the gift. That was just the gift of obedience. And then from there, you know, God just began to speak and said, you know, I expect for you to be able to feed your family off of the gifts and talents that I've put inside of you. And that is where ME Unlimited, you know, faith-based, personal, spiritual and personal development coaching and business solutions really began. And so that was the actual where I knew that I was permitted to make money from it. You know, I had always been doing it, but that's when I knew I was permitted to make money from it. And so that's where the story began. And I became the soul shifter. Oh my goodness. I love it because it's so just who I am. And I had come to a place last year in 2014, I had come to this almost like a roadblock. And for the entire month of November in 2014, for the entire month of November, I was sick. I kept losing my voice. I could not get well. I was just sick. And so finally I was just like miserable. And I was like, okay, God, like, what is it? Like, what is it? Something, you know, am I not showing up? Because normally when things start to happen, it's because I'm not showing up as my absolute authentic self, which people who know me, it's really hard to kind of pinpoint when I'm not, because I'm just so kind of in your face. But when I'm really, really not showing up and I'm leaving some pieces out, things will begin to happen. God will do things to get my attention. And so I was sick. And so funny, because my pastor says I was sick for 40 days and 40 nights. But but I was sick and that's my birthday month. And so I didn't get to celebrate my birthday, nothing. I was just sick for the whole month. And so finally, I just sat down on my couch one night, just so distraught. And I was like, you know, like, God, what is it? What is it? And he posed the question, you know, you keep trying to come up with all these different strategies, but I just want you to answer this one question. And what's the question? And he said, what have I called you to do? And tears just started to flow down my face, because I instantly knew the answer. What he's called me to do really is not only to save souls, but to shake them up, to shift them, to jar them, like to almost like, you know, knock you upside your head and say, wake up. And so as I began to reflect back on my entire life, it's really what I have been doing. I have been shifting souls since I was 3-4, you know, years old. And so it came to life in that moment, but it really is who I had always been.
Right. And I can definitely attest to that whole month of November and with everything that was going on with you, and, you know, being on the sidelines too, of actually experiencing that with you in a way, and seeing the awakening, you know, that came through that of this, you know, this is what I've always, you know, been doing, but now to actually be able to put your finger on it and call it by name. you know, it's definitely a heightened level of not only responsibility, but a breakthrough. Is like, yes, finally tapping into this is who I truly am, and having kind of like that aha moment, you know. So one of the things I talk about a lot, oh, before I go into that, I wanted to say it's so funny. We always continue to find out things about each other and how we are so like in alignment with one another. I was one of those teen people in high school too, that was part of the teen group. It was called what we call it, teen peers or some peer mediation or something like that we called it. But yeah, so that's just funny. But so I've been doing this for a long time too. But I always talk about finding your unique voice. And so, you know, one of the pillars of being able to really show up and stand out is finding your unique voice, and which we know you have no problem with, anyone that knows you. But I want to know, has that always been the case for you? Did it take you time to really stand fully in that? You know, was it something naturally that you did, or was it a journey?
You know what, Famira? I think that everything is a journey. Everything that we do is a journey. However, this is what I will say. It's always been natural. I've never had to struggle with just being exactly uh, who I am. I've never had to struggle with that. I've never had to struggle with trying to figure out how to say what's in my heart, what's in my soul, what's in my spirit. I've never, so it's been a journey. It hasn't been a hard journey. I have an aunt who tells a story of me being just 5 years old and speaking truth. And, you know, she said she remembers me saying it, and it was so true that she wanted to punish me, but it was so true and said in such respect till it made her cry for weeks and weeks and weeks. But it was because I had spoken the truth at 5 years old. And so it's been a journey. It hasn't been a struggle. I'm going to tell you, though, where the struggle has come in for me. The struggle for me has not been standing up in it. The struggle for me is when I've tried to sit down in it. Yeah. So the struggle for me has never been standing up in it. The struggle has been when I've tried to sit down. And I spent a few years of my life trying to sit down in it, because even though people, I don't want to say people don't faze me. What I will say is I'm not easily influenced by the voice of the people. But after you hear something over and over and over again, and my degrees are in psychology, and so from a psychological standpoint, after you hear something over and over and over again, even if your intellect is telling you that what they're saying is not true, it begins to absorb in your spirit. Your spirit starts to pick that up, and it starts to manifest itself, right? But after years and years and years of being married to a man who would consistently say to me, "You are too much. You are too much. Nobody knows what to do with you. When you walk in the room, like the oxygen sucks out because everybody goes, what is she gonna say?" And so after years and years and years of hearing that, I started to try to sit down in my voice. And so I've never had a problem standing up in it, but I did have struggles trying to sit down in my voice. It doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for anybody.
Right.
Work for me, who it came so easy and so natural to be myself and to be authentic and to say truth. It was definitely those were hard years trying to sit down on my voice.
Right. And so you know, and that is definitely probably the minority of people, you know, of it being natural to stand in your unique voice and recognizing, you know, right away what it actually even is. You know, a lot of people that know my journey know that mine is the exact opposite of that. And but for a lot of the same reasons, though, you know, which is, you know, very, you know, very funny that is the case. But it took me a while a long time to really find it. And so from your standpoint, I would love for you to give those that are watching or listening to this some tips on how you feel like they can really tap into that unique voice and, as you said, really truly stand up in it and with power and confidence.
Right. Well, number one, the number one thing that I would tell anybody is that you have to sit with yourself. You have to sit with yourself outside of all of the other voices. You have to sit with you, your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, your dreams, your desires, what, set your boundaries. You have to really, really, really get clear on who you are just as a person, right? Because before you even have a voice, you are a person, you are a being, you are existing. So before you even begin to formulate a voice, you have to just accept who you are as a person. And so for me, I did that very early on, which is why it was easy for me to be authentic. I knew that I had a mean streak. I knew that I could be really mean and nasty when I wanted to. I knew that, there were things that I just don't like them, so I'm not going to do them. But I also knew that there are things that I'm super passionate about and people and things that I really, really love. And so you have to get really, really clear on who you are as a person. And people will tell you what I'm about to say is perhaps the exact opposite of anything you've ever heard, but people will tell you that you have to grow into yourself. Listen, I knew who God created me to be at 5 years old. And I did. And so my very first piece of advice would be to get very clear with yourself on who you are, right? But once you get really clear on who you think you are, then you take that to step number 2. And then you say, okay, God, now tell me who I really am.
Right.
Now that I have taken the time to dispel the myths of the world, what the world say, now, God, I need you to dispel my own myths about who I am. And so step number 1, and that may seem weird, right? Because most people coming from a spiritual standpoint will say, "Oh, go to God first." Well, I'm clear. I'm with that. I'm all for going to God first. But the reason that I say get clear yourself and then go to God and let Him dispel the myths is because when I sit in God's face, I don't want to have any resistance. I don't want to have anything in me. When God begins to speak, I don't want to have anything in me, ready to go against Him. So this is what I've come up with. Okay, now God, let's hear the real deal. So now I'm ready because I've already gotten the junk of the world out. Now I'm ready to go ahead and let God get whatever junk I've left in. Okay, can you get that out? So that's step number 2. And then step number 3 is surround yourself with people. And when I say surround, when I think of surround, I think there's a person in front of me, there's a person on my right, there's a person on my left, and there's a person behind me. And then the Spirit of God has encircled us all. So when I say surround, I don't mean go get you a football team. I mean, right? People that can get you on all sides and let God encompass all of that and make sure that those people are willing to support you in who God says you are, and that they never, ever, ever, ever let you revert back to your own opinion or the world's opinion. You make sure that those people hold you accountable to ultimately who God says you are. Then your voice rises up.
Yes. That's so good. That's so good.
Rises up because you have the support of the people, who are going to support you no matter what. And then that even those people God is encamped around that whole circle, and your voice begins to rise up, and it's an authentic voice because you're safe in the arms of not only Jesus, but people who love you and support your God-given design.
That's so good. I mean, and it's so imperative. Oftentimes unfortunately, a lot of people try to go through things alone, and they try to, you know, whether it's in life or in business, because we often operate from a place of fear and a place of lack. And, you know, we're so concerned with people trying to steal our ideas when it comes to business, or people trying to infiltrate and do what we're doing, and all these different things that a lot of times we find it hard to really tap into those people that have been divinely designed to come into your life to help you go to that next level. You know, like for me, one of those people is definitely you, you know, and so, but if I was operating from a place of fear and lack, I would not have seen that and would have not let you in. You know, and on the opposite side of that, if you were not standing in your unique voice and, you know, and being true, I would not have resonated with you, because we are, you know, we are a lot alike. And so even in those things, for me, it was giving me the strength to continue to stand up even taller, you know, in who I've been created to be, because of, you know, how tall you stand. And so we have to really look at that, you know, as women especially, in order to be able to go to that next divine level in life and business. And that's what this, you know, web series is all about. It's about encompassing all of those things, not just business, but not just life. It's life through style, you know, because we have to stylize the life that we want to live. And so that is good stuff. Well,
Can I interrupt? Because I'm going to tell you this. This is a little sidebar, right? But this is how we live our life, right? This is how we live our life. And so as I was preparing, because what I want y'all to know was that this is my god sister and this is my business BFF, but I prepared to sit down here with her today as professionally as I would have if this was Barbara Walters. So as I was preparing to come and sit and do this interview today, I was thinking of what would be the thing that I would say about Famira in my life. What would be the thing that I would say? And so I was thinking in terms of business. I was thinking in terms of, you know, visual impact and branding. And so I just feel like I need to tell you what came into my spirit as I was pondering that thought. You know how people say that things are like a breath of fresh air. You know, oh, that was a breath of fresh air. And it dropped in my spirit that as it pertains to business, because on a personal level, what I think and what I feel is between me and you. But on a business level, I thought that, you know what she is? She came into my space, my business space, and really made me feel like you breathed life into my brand. So I was like, oh, she's a brand of fresh air.
awesome. Awesome. I love that. Yay.
Oh, and it's really true. So just shout out to you, you know, shout out to you for just, you know, the role that you have played in coming alongside me, you know, for ME Unlimited to come to life and for the Soulutions Sage to come to life, because I speak the words, but you give life to my words visually. And so thank you for that. So, okay.
Well, that actually takes me right into my next question, because you know I had to have a visual branding question in this interview, right? So, because, you know, a lot of people, you know, I hear a lot of other coaches downplay the importance of visual branding. I hear a lot of chatter around the fact that you don't need a website and it doesn't really have to look like nothing and all of these things, which, you know, of course is completely opposite to what I believe. I feel as though, yes, you can make money. You can make money with anything. I mean, you know, depending on the situation. But my whole stance is, but why would you want to? And how much more could you do if you had all your pieces in place, as opposed to piecemealing it? So with you saying that and bringing up the visual branding for you and for your business, can you share exactly how important has, you know, the fact of your visual branding being in alignment with your brand message really been to help you impact, get your, we know you have a world changing message, and those, those are the women that I work with. And so how has the visual branding being in alignment with that message really helped with your business?
Well, the thing is that I am, my gifts, my callings, my talents, my skills, everything about me is centered around my words and my communication. And so, which, and anybody who is familiar with me knows that sometimes it can be raw, it can be harsh, it can be kind of in your face, right? So for me, what the visual branding lining up for me meant that it actually made my words softer. The visual branding piece actually made my words softer, whereas people would hear me speak and think, oh my God, like, I don't know if I want to work with her. Then they would maybe come behind and see a visual piece and think, okay, she's just pretty normal, she's just pretty normal. And so it actually, the visual piece softens my brand. Even it doesn't soften my voice. It softens my brand to the point where it draws people to me because it appeals to another sense. You know what I mean? Because people don't necessarily like in your face truth, right? So it really came into play in helping people see kind of like a softer side of me. Like, okay, she's pretty normal. Oh, those colors are so beautiful. Oh my goodness, that looks so good together. And so it had such like a calming effect on people. So it drew people to me because it calmed them down enough to not be focused on, I know she's going to say something that I probably don't want to hear.
Right.
The visuals are very calming, and I needed that piece because I am like stomp the ground, tear down the walls, like that's who I am. So those visual pieces, it calms people down and then kind of draws them to me and prepares them mentally, then okay, I'm willing to hear what she has to say now. So it doesn't silence my voice, but my brand needed to be soft because my voice is so powerful.
Right. And so I think, that brings up, a very good point, and what I always try to share with my clients, and just when I'm sharing in general around visual branding, and how it has to be about more than you, right? So a lot of times when people pick their colors or they pick their fonts, they pick what speaks to them and speaks to who they are, and and how they want to show up, but they don't really oftentimes think about their audience, and who they're trying to attract. So like for you, it could have been very, and I know this about you. I know how you, the type of colors that you love and that you like, that colors, do all that to you. So it could have been very easy for you to pick some very, dominating colors, bold colors, that were just as harsh.
Yeah.
I don't even really want to say harsh, but just as poignant as your voice.
Yes.
But like you said, that might not have for the people that you are designed to reach. Sometimes they need that first step to be like, okay, wait a minute, because you are going to come with such truth that a lot of times people are not in a space of ready to accept it, right away, that they need that. And so that's the importance of truly understanding. I call them destiny clients, understanding your destiny clients, and also still putting it with who you truly are too, so that it still rings authentic and not like a setup.
Right. Right.
So
right. Absolutely.
And yeah, so I think that, and that's what we accomplish, with your brand, and with the colors that we're using. So so it's so much more to visual branding than people think, oh, I just pick out some fonts and colors. Like, no.
Absolutely, absolutely, because I mean, just to kind of go ahead and tie up that one of the first things that I say is that, like, I don't like curly fonts. I personally, I don't like curly fonts. But in my branding, there's a curly font, and other people love it, and I'm like, cool, because I know that they need something to kind of calm them down. They need something kind of sweet. Oh, that's so pretty. They need that, because when they get in my face, or when I pick up that phone and I'm like, okay, let's be real. You know what I'm saying? My voice is gonna be a shock to their system. So I appreciate the fact that they get something softer and sweeter and kinder, which there is that those are pieces of me as well.
Right.
But when I'm doing what I'm called to do, like, I'm called to get you straight. So I can't be, Tiffany blue and gold and I can't be that when I speak.
Mm-hmm.
But I love allowing them to see those have those calming effects, in the meantime, and the curly fonts and all of that. It's very important. And anybody, people who say you don't need a website and you don't need this and you don't need that, those are usually the people who started their business in a DOS environment. Windows wasn't even born yet. So of course you're thinking, you don't need a website because you started with paper flyers and you know what I mean? That's how
Right.
you started. And so clearly, yeah, you can make money, the old school way you can, but why would you?
Right. Right.
Like you said, why would you? So
So true, so true. I always be like, like that avatar with the question mark. Bring it up, but so of course we cannot have this conversation without having conversation around the soul. I mean, you can't talk to the soul shifter and not talk about the soul. I mean, that's just unheard of, right? So so I wanted to ask you, when you speak of the soul, exactly what do you mean by the soul?
oh, this is my most delicious question ever. I love just saying it. It gets me excited just saying it. And I appreciate you asking the question, because as my business BFF, I know that you probably heard me say this like a million times. But I love this question because it makes me feel it makes my soul smile. Like I can't stop myself from smiling, because this question right here is one of those questions. The answer to this question is, to me, if you can grasp the concept of my answer, oh, life gets so yummy. It gets so good. And so, Famira, when I speak of the soul, I'm not speaking of your standard, oh, your soul is your mind and your emotions and da da da. Nah, because I disagree with all of that. I disagree with Webster and I disagree with all of that. My concept of the soul is the place inside of me and the place inside of you that if you could take your hand and push it through your abdomen and just keep going and going and going, when you stopped, you would be touching the very hand of God. So the soul is the place that's so deep in us that it takes us, it's the path to God. It's the path to everything divine. It's the path to the expansion of the universe. It's the path to, like, everything that we are. Like, the very existence of man itself lies right there in that soul. And so that question, I love it, because when I picture that in my mind, it's just like, wow, like we have a place in us that is connected to the creator of the universe, and that is our soul.
I love that answer. And yes, as her BFF, I have heard it several times, but every time I hear it, it's just as great and as phenomenal and like just as revelation nary as it was the very first time I heard her say it. So it's like every time you say it, I visualize myself doing exactly what you're saying, and it's just like, yeah. So I get I get all the goosebumps and all that stuff too every time you talk about it. Because what I love about you though is that you have a way of explaining the soul and explaining those things of divinity and spiritual enlightenment in such a way that anyone could understand it. You know, regardless of your religious beliefs, regardless of or your lack thereof, whatever the case may be. When you speak on the soul and you speak on those spiritual places and those divine places, whether you're doing it in concept of business or in life, you make it very easy for people to tap into it and understand it and know that regardless of your belief, like what you're saying is true, right? And so that's one of the things that I love about having conversations with you, and just even hearing you speak when you speak on various topics, because it's always a piece of it, right? Because it's who you are. And so with talking about that though, how do you what is the importance? Because I know you always talk about being a soulpreneur and that faith is your business. How important is it that you feel that not just yourself, but all those that are listening, that we be aware of bringing that soul piece into our business?
Oh my goodness. It's the only thing that's really authentic. It's the only piece of us that is untapped. I don't believe that there is a such thing as, a black soul. I think that our soul is so absolutely pure, is so untapped, is so unscathed and untouched by the world. And so in anything that you're doing in your business, in your personal life, when I say personal life, I mean your interactions, your dealings with yourself, whether it's relationally, your interactions with other people. I'm telling you something that if you do not grasp how to incorporate the authenticity of the pureness of your soul into just your everyday activities, everything is predicated upon something that's not real. And so you can't make money, not for a long time. Ask a drug dealer. You can't make money for a long time off of something that's not real, off of something that's based on something that's not real. When the foundation is not solid, nothing lasts for a long time. Not your business. Your own self-care will begin to break down. Your relationships will begin to break down. There has to be a little piece, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that everybody has to function and live in that space like I do, but there has to be a little piece of you that is untouched and unscathed by the world, because that's where you get your foundation from. That's where you get the solid foundation. And so I like that you said, that when I'm speaking, that even if people don't believe what I believe, because I'm firm on that, you don't have to believe what I believe, but you have to know that there is a pure, untouched, authentic piece of you that is connected to the expansion of the entire universe. For me, that's God. For me, that's Jehovah. Let's be clear. That's Jehovah, because, different people call God different things God. I'm speaking of Jehovah God. So for me, Famira, when it comes to business, and that's why people really, really struggle with target audience and finding their niche and things like that, because they have left out that unscathed, untouched, unadulterated piece of them. They have failed to incorporate that. you know, and I've been guilty of that myself. You know what I'm saying? I've been guilty of that myself. I've had times where I've tried to function off of my knowledge, right? My intellect. I've tried to function off of, you know, what other people can tell me. But I tell you something, only when you begin to build your platform off of the most authentic piece of yourself does it stand. And that is the importance of incorporating your soul purpose, you know, your soul vision. It has to come from that unadulterated place, lest it be tainted. And once it's tainted, it becomes fallible and can easily fall.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So y'all see why I had to have her on this web series, right? Okay. I am biased, but for very good reason. So, you know, for me, I definitely have a heart for teenage girls, and it's definitely a part of my passion and my platform. And so I would like to ask you, in this whole concept of what we're talking about, life through style, and really just creating the life and business that really, in your case, speaks to your soul and nourishes your soul, what would be the one thing that you would tell your 15-year-old self, knowing what you know now, that you would tell them to help them get to where you are now quicker, faster, sooner?
Oh, that's easy. I would tell my 15-year-old self that exactly what you're thinking is exactly what God is saying.
Wow. Yeah, that's good.
Exactly what you're thinking is exactly what God is saying.
Wow. Yeah, because if I think, if even for me, like if I had got that at 15, I'd be in a lot different place, you
Yeah.
know, because we do allow doubt and what other people have to say, you know, come in and make us doubt. So yeah, that's good. I like it.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's it. And you know, what's so funny is I've never been asked that before, but it just like when you said that, I was like, oh, I know, because I know that for me, 15 was so transitional. It was a transitional point in my life. 15 is when the world began to speak to who I was. And
Mhm.
so, you know what I'm saying? That's when I began to hear the world and what they had to say. And so, yeah, I would say, girl, no. And is
Uh,
exactly what I'm saying. Yes.
well, we're gonna have a little fun right now. This is just quick. It's kind of like the rapid fire questions, where I'm gonna give you two options, and you just tell me what your option would be. First come to your mind, just to give people a little bit different insight into who M.E. Porter is. Ready?
Let's go. Let's go.
Okay, handbags or shoes?
Choose.
Bright colors or neutrals?
Right.
Fun or relaxation?
Oh, fun.
Beach or mountains?
Beach.
Shopping or spa?
Spa.
Okay, awesome. So, just to wrap this up, I know you have lots of things going on over there in the ME Unlimited camp, and so if you'll share with those that are watching, exactly what you have coming up that they can keep an eye out for, and what we need to do to stay connected to you. Those two things.
Let's see. So, you know, the most major thing that I have going on right now is all already over in 2016. I'm already over in 2016, but I do have in October of 2015, on October 17th, I do have my We Fall Down telesummit. That is October 17th. And those telesummits are really, really awesome. Like, they're all day, y'all, from 9 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock at night. So you can be empowered from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed. So those are really awesome. Um, And you can just get connected to my newsletter or social media, because I'm always on Facebook. I'm learning to do Twitter a little bit more. My business aspirations are teaching me that I need to do Twitter a little bit more. I got tagged in on a tweet with Oprah, so I need to be on Twitter a little bit more. So that's, I think, pretty much the only thing that I really have left in 2015 that is, my own personal venture. Let's see. I also, my Soulpreneur. Oh, that's a 2016 thing, y'all. But I'm launching my Soulpreneur T-shirt collection, and I'm really, really excited about that. Thanks to this awesome young lady right here who designed it. It is wonderful. I'm telling you, you want to get that. I'm telling you, if you are a soulpreneur and faith is your business, you want to get that T-shirt. I promise you. And so to stay in touch with me, I have my e-real estate, which is www.MarilynEPorter, PORTER.com, MarilynEPorter.com. I'm always on Facebook. I have to give you a disclaimer. I probably have about 200 or 300 unaccepted friend requests right now. So you probably want to catch me on a fan page. I'm real closed about my personal page, but you can catch me at Motivationally Me, which is my ministry page, the Ministry of Motivation for the Masses. Or you can catch me at the Soul Coach at I am M.E. Porter. You can catch me on the Twitter and Periscope at M.E. Motivates. Instagram is the M.E. Porter Mission. And just reach out, and I do respond. I will respond. I promise you. I may not respond immediately, but I will respond. And if you just need to talk, sometimes people just want to talk. They don't want to do social media. You actually can call me at 404-500-8722. Leave me a message, and I promise you, I will call you back.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, sis, for being here with us on today. This has been awesome, just as I knew it would be, because we're just cool like that, right? And so and we always have a good time together. And so, but I do thank you. I want to let you know, and as well as all the public know, that I do not take it for granted, just because you are my god sister and my BFF, that that you will just at the drop of the hat do what I'm asking you to do with all my different ventures that I have going on. I truly appreciate it, because I know the workload that you have and all that's going on, all the different moving parts of ME Unlimited. And so I truly appreciate it. And I'm grateful that you are here with me on this installment of Life Thru Style. So thank you. And thank you to all that are watching this episode of Life Thru Style. This is what we're here to do. We're here to bring you women that are showstoppers in their industry, and just give you that empowerment and the encouragement for you to do the same, because my personal belief is that we all have a world-changing message. We just have to learn how to get it out and stand up and show up and stand out and really be able to move forward in our destiny, so that we are reaching those people that have been assigned to us to reach. No matter what your industry is, no matter what your service you provide, no matter what product you sell, is about something so much more. And so I hope that you find that empowerment and that encouragement right here through this platform. And so it is time that we all begin to experience life through style. Until next time, I'm Famira, the Diamond Diva, and thank you for being here with us. Have a great one. Bye.